Hello and welcome to another Pokemon Showdown live battle. I'm not Orangejuice and we're going to have some Gen 5 Ubers battles, and we're going to be going against Manaphy 286 because apparently Pokemon plus number is an accepted name for whatever situation you're in, basically. So looking at his team, he basically has an almost mono water team with the exception of that Latias, which also happens to be the only red thing in his team, so that's interesting. I myself am using a sort of rain team thingy with a Ditto on top, so we'll see how that works. This is a team I'm basically testing, and I think it's worked out very well for me, for recently anyway. So let's get this battle started. What would he lead with? Probably something that can set up Stealth Rock, so I'm guessing Swampert. And looking at my team, there's nothing that's willing to take care of a Swampert. Nothing has a grass move, so I'm actually going to lead off with my Kyurem White and we'll see where we go from there. Now in comes the Kyogre actually, so that's a bit bad. But luckily that thing can't do too much to me because all it has is like the most damage it could do to me is with Water Spout, which now that I think about it, I don't know how much damage it would do, but maybe it would be wise to find out. So I'm just gonna go for a Draco Meteor, and I actually go first and I do so much damage to it that it's not even funny. Surf on the other hand doesn't even do it KO me, so that's pretty cool. And I could just go for another Draco Meteor and try to kill it, or predict the switch into Empoleon and switch into something else. And I think the latter is what I'm going to do as I switch into Kabutops, though if the Kyogre decides to surf again, I'd be in a really terrible position. Well, I don't really care too much. Kabutops isn't going to be doing too much in this battle anyway because the opponent is mostly water, so I'm going to switch into my Kabutops as we see what Manaphy is going to do here. And I just realized your name is Manaphy and you have a Manaphy in your team. Kudos to you, you're totally the first person to do something like that. So he actually just goes for the surf and knocks out my Kabutops, and that's pretty sad. But on the bright side, there's nothing bright out there, so that's a bit crappy. I'm gonna go out into my Arceus and finish off this Kyogre with an extreme speed unless you switch into your Genesect. What the hell? Where did Genesect come from? Into your Empoleon, because that would be a very, very troll move, basically. So, let's see where things go from here. In comes the Palkia, and Palkia is a strength to be reckoned. And I'm assuming it's gonna go for either the Dragon move or the Water move. Probably the Water move because we're in the rain and that will be stronger. So, I don't know what I should do. This is an interesting situation. Assuming that the Palkia isn't Specs, and I can live the next hit, I could go for a Swords Dance and an Extreme Speed, and that should be able to do a crap ton of damage, but you know what, I'm just gonna go for the Swords Dance, see where that goes. It's gonna go for the Surf, it's gonna do massive amounts of damage, so I'm going to assume it's Specs, though I'm not sure if Specs would have killed. It's been a while since I've played the Gen 5 Uber thing, so I'm gonna go for the Extreme Speed. Hopefully that kills. Of course it doesn't. For a second I thought it would. And that thing is not Specs because it switches up to Thunder, and that's pretty convenient because it's not convenient at all. Now, I do have my Ditto ready for any situation, basically, so I'm gonna go into my Scarf Ditto, and I'm basically going to be able to see his moveset, as well as be able to, you know, plan accordingly, predict accordingly, blah blah blah. And looking at his moveset, he has Hidden Power Dark, which I have no idea why you would have. But that's interesting at the very least. So, I think I'm going to go for a Spatial Rend. And then I could switch into Giratina if he decides to switch into Empoleon, so we'll do exactly that. I go for the Spatial Rend, the Palkia is dead, so that's one threat eliminated, and we're left with 2 OU Pokemon, 1 UU Pokemon, and 1 Manaphy. So, Ditto is going to be very crucial for this match, I think. And in comes the Manaphy, which has Tail Glow. So I don't want it setting up Tail Glows and then accidentally shitting on my whole team, so I'm actually just going to go for Spatial Rend, and hopefully I'm going to get 2 Spatial Rends in a row and kill that Manaphy. Otherwise, I might be at a bit of a predicament. I'm going to go for the Spatial Rend, and it looks like it's going to be 2-hit KOing, even if it has leftovers, which it does not anyway. So I'm going to go for another Spatial Rend, and I'm assuming he's going to switch into Empoleon at this point because that would be the wisest move. But nope, you're just going to leave Manaphy in here to die. And that is going to be the last Uber on his team to die, which is quite fitting because your name is Manaphy. And the death of that Manaphy was symbolic of your overall demise in this entire battle. But enough English language, literature interpretation stuff, Majig. I'm going to go into my Giratina. And Giratina here is going to take an Ice Beam to the face, but it's not going to take that much damage because it's a specially defensive set. And I might as well Will-O-Wisp it even though it's not a physical attacker because, you know, it's still going to do, it's going to be racking up some damage basically. So I'm just going to go for another Will-O-Wisp, and I missed 2 Will-O-Wisps in a row, which is sort of unfortunate, and I get a freeze. But I'm going to just keep going for Will-O-Wisp because why not? And in comes another Ice Beam, and basically my day is being shit on by a Penguin that's not even an Ice type. So I'm going to go for the rest, hoping to thaw out. Of course I don't thaw out, and the Hex Gods are against me today because apparently they want to shit on my head and watch it die. I don't have much I can do at this point because I guess I could go into my Kyogre, but it's not going to be doing that much, to be honest. I could go into my Kyurem White and then go for Draco Meteor, but it's not very effective in the beginning. So, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go into Kyurem White. I'm going to go for Earth Power. And it's actually going to kill because apparently Specs Kyurem White is the strongest thing out there in Ubers. And in decides to come in this Latias, and I'm going to go into Ditto just to see what set it's running at the same time, perhaps posing it a threat because I'm assuming it has Dragon Pulse or Draco Meteor or something similar. So Ditto should be able to counter the Latias pretty easily if I just don't screw up. So I'm going to become a Latias, and the Dragon Pulse is actually going to kill me, so I never even found out what moves it was carrying, but it doesn't matter too much because now I can decide what I want to do, and what I want to do is go into Kyogre and spam Ice Beam. And if this doesn't work, then nothing's gonna work because it's a sad day. And Latias is too specially defensive. Jesus, I'm gonna have to go for another Ice Beam, and it just does not kill, and Latias's Psychic isn't going to kill me either, so this next Ice Beam is going to knock out that Latias, and the last thing left on that team is that Swampert, and I really have to decide what I want to do with that Swampert because I want to switch out into Kyurem White right now and try to spam an attack, and then I'll still have an opportunity to go for Water Spout, but I don't know if that thing, if he's smart enough to go for a Stealth Rock at this point, basically. And I'm assuming he's going to go for the kill, so I'm just gonna go into my Kyurem White. And thinking back, that wasn't that much of a good move, but well, we're here now, and I could go either for the Draco Meteor or the Ice Beam. I'm going to go for the Ice Beam because I could miss, basically. So the Ice Beam is going to knock it down 99%, and it's going to live by 1%, but it doesn't really matter because my Kyogre is Scarfed, and it's going to knock out the Swampert with a Surf unless Surf misses, which never happens because Surf is an amazing move, and that is going to be GG. We're going to be going to look for another battle, basically, and I'll see you there. Be right back. This time, we're going to be going against Gym Leader Boogie. And looking at his team, he has the Deoxys, which he's probably going to lead with. And he has that Kabutops, the same as me. And another thing that's noteworthy is that he has the Lugia, so I'm going to have to keep my Kyurem White alive, because otherwise I probably won't be able to kill it, because Lugia is bulky as hell. On the other hand, there's that Ho-Oh, which I'm not sure what it's going to do, but I guess we're going to find out. So I think what I want to do is lead with something that can get rid of that Deoxys accordingly. And I think the answer to that is going to be my Arceus, which otherwise won't be doing too much in this battle, I think. And actually, he decides to lead up with the Ho-Oh, which is pretty logical, since Sacred Fire will be doing double damage once the rain is set up. So actually now I'm just going to switch into my Kyogre, predicting the Sacred Fire, and this should weaken the Sacred Fire as well as provide a decent counter to the Ho-Oh. And now I'm assuming the Deoxys or the Kyogre is coming in, so I'm just gonna go for the Thunder. And it's still super effective against the Ho-Oh, so that's pretty cool. But the next Brave Bird is going to kill me, so that's a bit unfortunate, but there's nothing I can do about that. And things are still looking pretty okay, in my opinion. And we'll see where all this stuff takes us. I'm going to go into my Arceus, finish that thing off with an Extreme Speed, and we'll see if he decides to switch into something else, which he probably won't, because why would you do that? You're in such a good position, to be honest. And we're still waiting for the Ho-Oh to do something, because its rainbow wings are fluttering in the sky majestically, even though it's in the rain. And well, I guess it's fitting that it's a rainbow in the rain. Ha, okay. Never thought about it that way. That's not poetic at all. And I've always thought that Ho-Oh's animation was slightly weird because it looks like its wings are like lopsided or something, but we can't see that anymore because the Ho-Oh is dead. Now in comes the Deoxys Speed, and I just want to get rid of it as fast as possible, so I'm going to go for another Extreme Speed, except I'm not going to go for Extreme Speed. I'm going to go for Shadow Claw, just to save an Extreme Speed in case I need another one later. But it's going to go for the Taunt, and that's pretty unnecessary, I think. And now I'm just going to go for another Extreme Speed and finish it off. So that Deoxys didn't really manage to do much, and I'm in a pretty good position. In comes the Kabutops, and I'm going to switch into my Giratina because Kabutops can't really do anything to a Giratina, especially when it's got a fighting move like Superpower or Low Kick. I personally prefer Low Kick, but you have Superpower, and I respect that, basically. I'm going to go for a Will-O-Wisp, hoping to burn something, either this Kabutops or the incoming anything, really. In comes the Lugia, and getting this burn off the Lugia is pretty cool, but the thing is... Oh god, what? No, I'm not going to be participating in the tournament yet. I'm recording a video here, you dongo. God damn it. Alright, now that that horrid message disappeared from my screen, I'm going to wonder what I'm going to do, because Lugia is probably going to go for the Toxic. And I don't want my Giratina to be toxic just yet. Well, actually, it does have the rest, so it's not that essential. But it would be nice nonetheless. I'm just gonna go for a Dragon Tail because why not? He does indeed go for the Toxic, and I don't mind too much. Now in comes the Kabutops, and what am I going to do to Kabutops? I'm just going to go for the Dragon Tail, predicting him to predict me to go for Will-O-Wisp, basically. You're gonna go straight back out into Lugia, aren't you? That's going to be my prediction, but my predictions are famous, or rather, shall I say, infamous, for being very, very wrong. So now you're going to switch out into Lugia. That was quite predictable. I'm just gonna go for Dragon Tail, not Low Kick. And you're going to go into your Arceus. And now I'm going to predict for me to go for Dragon Tail again, so I'm just gonna go for the Will-O-Wisp. You do indeed just go for a Shadow Claw. And now your Arceus is burnt, except it's not because I missed. And that is quite the unfortunate predicament. And now I'm assuming you're going to go for like Sword Stance or something, so that's pretty scary. I'm gonna have to go for Will-O-Wisp just in case you stay in, because otherwise things could be very, very bad. Now your Lugia is probably going to go for the Roost, so I'm gonna take this opportunity to rest up. And yes, you do indeed Roost, but your multi-skill is sort of permanently broken by the burn, so I'm not too concerned about it in that sense, I guess. I'm gonna go for one Sleep Talk just to see if I perhaps get the Dragon Tail or something like that. But I know I get the rest. Not that it matters too much, I guess. And a couple bad things here. It has a sub up, basically. And I think I'm going to go into my Arceus just so I can get rid of the sub, and then I'll decide what to do. Nope, it's gonna go for Dragon Tail, and it gets a crit, which probably didn't matter, but in the end, it is slightly annoying. Now, I'm gonna go for the Waterfall to break the sub instead of going for the Unreliable Stone Edge. It's going to go for Toxic now, and that doesn't bother me too much because I should be able to kill it with a Stone Edge if I manage to hit. If I don't, then, well, screw me, right? I go for the Stone Edge and the Lugia is dead. Yet again, bringing the population of Lugia down from 1 to 0. And it's such a shame because that Lugia was shiny and it was pretty basically. But there's nothing you can do about it now because you did this to it. You killed the Lugia, it's your fault for capturing it in a tiny ball and doing some majestic cockfights out in the open here where it's raining. But really, I don't have any idea what I'm talking about. And I'm just basically burning time while something comes out. And in comes the Arceus, and guess what? I have the low kick. I'm just wondering how much it'll do. And it does a decent 73%, which just isn't enough. And now it's going to go for the Sword Stance, which I'm not afraid of too much because I do have the Ditto, and the Ditto should be able to extreme speed and kill the Arceus via its own skill, basically. So I can't do anything in this point. It's going to go for extreme speed and kill my Kabutops, but Kabutops did a great job this battle. Thank you, Kabutops. Bye, Kabutops. Now I'm going to go into my Ditto, and Ditto is going to be able to extreme speed everything. And let's go for the extreme speed, knock out the Arceus, or maybe the Kabutops if the Kabutops decides to come in at this point, but I'm not sure how much of an impact that's going to have. Okay, in comes the Kabutops, I go for extreme speed, and I get the crit, and it knocks out the Kabutops. And the thing is, that didn't matter too much because 2 extreme speeds would have killed it anyway, and extreme speed is priority, so I would have gone first either way. Now in comes the Kyogre, I'm going to go for the extreme speed, and it's going to do a solid 86% damage. You're going to go for the Water Spout, but sadly I was faster, so it looks like it's GG as I finish this Kyogre and the incoming Arceus with an extreme speed, and that is going to be GG. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment, a like, or a subscription, and I encourage you to check out the rest of my videos as well. I'm not Orangejuice, and as always, I will be hoping to see you next time.